It is now my pleasure to introduce our next speaker. Wayne Gent is currently the superintendent for St. Lucie Public Schools. In July of last year, Wayne Gent returned to his deep educational roots in St. Lucie County to proudly serve as the superintendent. Prior to assuming this leadership role, he successfully led the Palm Beach County School District as superintendent for 4 years, during which time great strides were made. Under his leadership, Palm Beach County consistently ranked as the highest performing urban district in the state. And in 2015, the Palm Beach County School District was one of only 2 A-rated urban districts in Florida. Furthermore, under his leadership, graduation rates increased each year. In addition to these accomplishments, Gent effectively built and strengthened partnerships with civic, business, and community groups during his tenure as the superintendent. He led the successful effort to pass a $250,000 referendum with 79% of the community's support. And prior to this, in 2004, Superintendent Gent was responsible for leading the district's campaign for voter approval of a half-cent sales tax, which resulted in the construction of new schools and the modernization of the majority of the existing schools in Palm Beach County. Please welcome Mr. Wayne Gent.
Well, what's supposed to happen here is that was going to bring my notes to me. But we had a little mishap there, but that's okay. That young man back there that's driving that, his name is Tyler Hooper, and he is a junior at Treasure Coast High School, and he's flying the drone. That may be all you remember today from my comments, but I wanted to start out with a bang, and it's an honor to be here and appreciate the opportunity. I want to introduce the chairman of the school board, Ms. Catherine Hensley, who's in the back. I'm not sure I have any other school board members that are here, and I have some staff members who are here. One of the areas I'll talk about this morning is called Career Technical Education. Catherine Schmidt was our director. She is going to be retiring, and my new director is Michael Carbini, and he is over here in the corner. And he's going to be working the room later on and on the other side, and you'll get a chance to chat with him. So, how many of you are a graduate of St. Lucie County? How many of you have children in our schools or did have children in our schools? How many of you are planning on having children in the future in our schools? Don't answer that one. So, we have 2,700 young men and young women that are walking across our stages. They've earned over $21 million in scholarships to the finest and most prestigious colleges and universities in the nation and in the state. We've even got one young lady going over to American University in London. A lot of the students will be armed with industry certifications that they've gotten, and I'll get into that in a few moments, in our programs, in our career tech programs within the school district that helps them and prepares them to go right into the world of work to earn a competitive wage and not at an entry level. Let me just give you a couple of facts of the school district. We're a B-rated district right now. We have almost 37,000 young boys and girls and young men and women in our school. We have a budget of about $470 million. My son saw this last night. He says, "Dad, you're a millionaire?" And I said, "No, I'm not, and you're not getting an upgrade to the phone." This is something a lot of folks don't know. We have 47 languages, 51 countries represented, almost 5,500 employees, of which 2,700 of those are instructors and teachers, 82 business partners, and something that's interesting, and the logistics that go into running a school district. 35,000 students we serve every day, and we travel, we have over 300 buses and 6 million miles per year. That's to the moon and back several times. And just a little bit of information there. Go into the presentation now. The United States has always been a leading economic leader in our world, driven by innovation, the competitive character of capitalism, and we do believe in capitalism, and I believe in capitalism, and I used to teach that too, Pete, when I was a teacher. My first day, I remember teaching capitalism in U.S. government, and capitalism is the lifeblood of our economy. And through the spirit of entrepreneurship, our nation set the pace for the world economy. Just fresh off a national financial crisis, a flattening globe, and the opportunities and challenges brought on by technology, public schools must take a look now at how our workforce is prepared, and now more than ever. A little history lesson. I was a history teacher as well. In the 1900s, we had vocational education, and that emerged in response to the industrial age. In the industrial era, individuals were trained with specific skills which helped drive the economic engine for the 20th century. And if you think about the public schools that you went to, or even the private schools that you may have gone to, that was all based on the industrial age and really the assembly line production, where you come down the assembly line and you, let's say it's an automobile plant and you're putting the tires on, or you put the chassis on, or the dash, or the bumpers. Well, if you look at schools, you've got this subject, and you go to this subject, and you go to that subject, and it's really outdated and antiquated. And you can even look at the structure of some of the buildings, where I'm in this hall and I'm in that hall for this subject. And so we're really trying to change that. Today we call vocational education career technical education. I also have a board member right over here, Vice Chair Troy Ingersoll. Thanks for Troy sneaking in. Speaking of our school board, and I'll stop for a moment, we have a great school board here. The 5 members that have served, they're all experienced, and none of this could happen without great leadership, and I'm very fortunate. And I know that Howard had mentioned that he's worked for the best board that he's been around, and I can echo those sentiments with our school board. So today we call it career technical education. We have choice programs and magnet programs, and we're trying to adapt to meet the needs of the local economy as well as of the global economy. The forecasted needs, the rapid pace of technological change, the demographics, the challenges of student engagement, achievement, growing global competition has created an urgency to meet the current needs and anticipate future demands of the economy, and for this democracy to really flourish. It ties right into what Pete was just saying. So in our public schools in St. Lucie County, we're committed to be the future, to prepare our kids to be the future for this workforce. We have talented, innovative leaders to support the positive and economic growth in this county. I want to invite you to take a very close look at our schools. You're invited to come into our schools. We want you to see what our students are doing. We want you to understand their studies and how they're positively impacting this community. As business leaders, as economic development front runners, you seek the best and the brightest to fill your needs, and I get that. And I got that in my role in Palm Beach County as well, and had a very close relationship with the Business Development Board, and has established that here with the Economic Council as well, and our chambers. Students in our choice and our career programs and our technical programs gain the knowledge for high skill, high wage, high demand occupations. They can earn college credits at the graduation, and Howard Tipton was there last night. I want to thank Howard. He was at Lincoln Park Academy's graduation, where the majority of the class, or several of the class, had already earned their AA degree, which is their 2-year degree in college. And they're 2 years ahead when they go in. And he asked me what, the parents, we encourage the kids when they go to college, to come back home. And I tell them that your parents will gladly welcome you back and to live with them for another 10 to 15 years. Correct? So let's take a closer look at what we're offering in our schools. There's a snapshot right here, right now, and then I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about some of the programs that we have. But you can see from agriculture, arts, business, finance, government and public administration. We got folks, Howard and Ken, that will try to have succession planning for you guys when you're not here. We're developing them in our schools, all the way down to marketing, sales, and service. And that's on one side of the house. On the other side of the house, rigor is very important, academic rigor. And that's one of the things that we're going to be pushing in St. Lucie County and in our public schools in the future. We want to make sure that our kids have a rigorous preparation. So whether they go into the world of work or whether they go on to a university, wherever they head, that they're prepared, that they're socially, they're academically prepared to meet the challenges that we have. And so you can see our AP, our dual enrollment classes, our IB, which is the International Baccalaureate. The one there, the second one, the ACE, that's an International Certificate of Education. It's really through a curriculum through Cambridge University in England. And we're going to expand that into all of our high schools in St. Lucie County. And then at the bottom, you can see IB. We have the IB program. We just expanded it over to Port St. Lucie High School. So we have it at Lincoln Park, but we're also expanding it now. We had some of our first graduates in the IB program this week at Port St. Lucie. Let me get a little specific now and just highlight some of the ones that we have, but there'd be too many to mention, so I'll try to go through these quickly. As was mentioned before, we have aerospace technology, and we're really partnered with Embry-Riddle University, Aeronautical University, and you can see these are actual students in our system. I'm not sure I'd want to be in the plane with the young man that's flying right now. Says he's not texting, but he's posing, for a photograph while he's flying the plane. It looks like he's making a left turn there, a bank, as you can see the ground behind him. But this is a fantastic partnership with Embry-Riddle, and these students are at Fort Pierce Central High School. And they learn really from the premier industry or university in the world. They learn the design, the construction, the study behind the forces, the physical properties. And whether they go into flight or engineering, it's a great program, and it's a great beginning for them. And the students can earn industry certifications as well in this program. Another one that we're very proud of is called the Marine and Oceanographic Academy. We refer to it as MOA. It's located up at Harbor Branch. And this academy, we have Florida Atlantic University, we have professors, and we have scientists. And our young men and our young women, this is through Westwood High School, and this is an open choice seat. So any students from anywhere in the county can go into this program. And they work with scientists daily, they work with professors daily. It's hands-on learning, and again, those pictures there are actual pictures. These are not cropped. These are students in our school system that work up there, and again, with a partnership with Harbor Branch and with FAU. And this is an incredible, incredible opportunity for these young men and young women that they take advantage of. And this is a program, we've even gotten calls, the state's going to go to total choice across the state, not this year, but next year, where you can attend any school in the state. We've already gotten calls from surrounding counties to try to enroll kids in some of our programs, this one in particular. Agri-technology, this is a big agricultural area, and this has really changed a little bit over the years. This is through technology and through the economic factors and through some of the disease, the greening of the plants. Ag has really changed a little bit. So we teach agricultural science, we teach natural resources, land management, 21st century tools and technologies and how they're used in the field, also horticulture, livestock management, and agricultural science. We also just brought in a program this year called the Precision Agricultural Drone Program. So you saw the one drone, and this young man is in ROTC at Treasure Coast. But if you go, when you come into the foyer, you'll see some of our different career tech programs. And they were out there today. The schools were competing on who had the largest drone. And the young man here did not have the largest drone. I think the largest drone was from Fort Pierce. No, I think it was the ag program at Westwood. But we have these programs, and this drone program in agri-technology is real important because the young men and women learn how to operate these things, and they have competitions. Not only do we have athletic competitions, but now we have drone competitions. We just did one out at the fairgrounds where the kids will program the drones and have to go through different obstacle courses. But in the area of agriculture, it's really will benefit the folks in that field and in that industry by reducing fuel, water, fertilizer, and pesticide inputs. We also at Westwood High School, tied into this, is our veterinary technologies program. We have a lab there which is a state-of-the-art animal hospital, if you will. I asked him to get a dog and not a cat up there. I'm not a cat guy, but that's a cat. That's Fluffy, and he survived. But so the students really get hands-on veterinary experiences. They're ready to go in as veterinary assistants, or they can go on to school to become a veterinarian. They can also get industry certifications. They learn animal nutrition, behavior, anatomy, the disease process, medical terminology, and surgical nursing. And that program is located at Westwood. Sliding over now, and we talked about the health industry and the demand, particularly in this area. We have biomedical science. That's at Lincoln Park Academy. Again, these are our students that are right there. And you can see that this is an introduction program. And a lot of these students go on to be doctors, or they go into the medical field. And they look at engineering principles. They look at metabolic processes, defense protection. It's amazing what you'll find in there. Tied into that is allied health. This program is offered, and this is one I really want to expand. We have this different examples of it in all of our high schools. And we know that there's a great demand here locally for nurses. We know there's a great demand and growth in the healthcare industry. And so we're expanding this program for our students. When I was principal, when I was in the county a long time ago at Westwood High School, and they have a strong allied health program, We put in the first emergency management, first responders program, because the health program we'd had at the time was just all females. And we put in the emergency preparedness program. We got some of the males in there. Really, those students went right into the EMT to be technicians or whatever, or work for the local fire departments. And so this program will grow as well with the nursing program, with the expansion of Martin Memorial Health out in Tradition. There's a definite need for nurses, and so we want to really look and work closely with the partners, which we do. We have articulation agreements where the students actually go into and work in the medical profession. They work with Martin Memorial, they work with the Council of Aging, the Life Care Center of Port St. Lucie, and Linmore at Lawnwood. Switching out of the health area, this is our digital age that the students are in the multimedia, and you again can see the photos that are there. This is the content where the students experience web page design, interactive presentation development, testing, production. The kids get excited about this. The sky's the limit to keep up with the latest technology that's going on. And it's a program that is very, very popular with our students. One that I just brought into the county this year when I came in is Cybersecurity. This program's over at Port St. Lucie High School. And this one is going to be, we're really trying to be on the cutting edge of the emerging technologies that are coming forward, not just for the market force here in St. Lucie and the surrounding areas, but really in the state of Florida as well as the nation. So cybersecurity is one of the new ones. The students that are in this program, I'll know it's successful when one day I get a phone call and says, are you aware that Port St. Lucie High School that all the students have a 4.0 GPA and they've all graduated with high honors and there's no discipline problems, and that's what it says here on our dashboard, our IT dashboard. But this is a great program, and it's one that we want to grow and one that we want to expand in our county for our students. Wanted to throw criminal justice up there. It's really a personal one because this is the program that my son's involved in, and he will be going into Indian River State and being involved and working in that department. But our young men and our young women are really get training in high school, to be deputies, detectives, troopers, border patrol, CIA, crime scene, which is, CSI folks, which is popular on television, correction, criminologists, game wardens, paralegals, you name it. It's a pathway for students. In the business sector, in the industry, we have our Finance Academy designed to prepare the kids for the financial services industry, learning banking and investing, financial planning, analysts, and these kids can, really go into any industry and be successful. The young man that was here just a moment ago is ROTC. If you talk to the students, I'm telling you right now, if you need help for the summer and you've got employment, you need to walk just right out to the quarter and beat everybody to the punch, because those kids are the sharpest that we have to offer, and they will outperform adults that have been in the business for several years. But these ROTC young men and women are trained to go on. Many of them will go on into the armed services, but I know what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody that shows up on time. You're looking for somebody that's respectful. You're looking for somebody that's responsible. And those are the same key points that we try to stress in the school system as well and try to prepare these kids. But the ROTC program does a great job as well as preparing these kids for service for our nation, which is really where, when I talk at graduation, I really give them the highest accolades because of the volunteer and the service nature of it, where they go out to protect and serve. So in closing for everyone, as a superintendent and our school board members, we're committed to be a part of the solution for the economic development here in St. Lucie County. And as you have seen, our programs, with our students in these programs, they're going to get the technical skills, they're going to receive the academic rigor, they're going to receive the real-world experiences that they're going to need either to go directly to college or to go directly into the world of work. So together we can appreciate, support, celebrate the many academic attractors and academies that we have, and we really want to transform our schools and our community. Can't do it alone. Working together, we can tailor strategies that promote and create competitive advantages for our young people. And that's really what I'm trying to do, is to give them a competitive advantage in school so that whatever path they take, they're ahead of the surrounding or the competition. We talk about competition, being the lifeblood of capitalism. Together we can leverage civic and community programs and resources, and it's been great to work with our county commission and to work with our Port St. Lucie government and Fort Pierce city government to try to come up with some partnerships to reach our young men and our young women. Together we can increase awareness of opportunities through that's afforded to these kids through their participation in the various academies. Together we can partner to realize sustainable support and continued growth of all of these programs. And together we can realize a spike in our community's workforce and establish an attractive landing place for our students so that we can adequately prepare them so that when they go into the world of work or they go to college, that we try to get them to come right back here into St. Lucie County. I have a slide up there now that'll show you a picture of, it should be the United States and the Statue of Liberty. In public education, and we'll have a little Statue of Liberty in every one of our schools, we take everybody. We don't deny entrance to any students in our school district. Whether you come from another country, if you enroll today from another country, you're coming into, whether you have a physical disability, we're going to take you in. We'll take anybody that's there, and it's our job and our mission to keep this democracy vibrant. We've got to make sure that our public schools are vibrant. I think that our nation's at a critical juncture, that our economic vitality hinges on our commitment to invest in and to assure the preparedness and the efficiency and the innovation, the creativity, and the productivity of the United States workforce. I believe that it starts in our public schools, and this school board and myself are committed to ensure that that vision is achieved and that we prepare our students to be functional members of this democracy, to strengthen this democracy, and to help support our economic engines. So thank you for this opportunity to present to you today, and I'll be around afterwards if anybody has any specific questions. And again, I have key staff members as well. I want to close just by saying you're invited to our schools. We have these different academies. I've highlighted a few. We ask for business industry advisors to come in because we don't want to miss the mark with our curriculums. We want to make sure that we're lined up to whatever the latest, greatest things are that we're teaching that to our children to prepare them. So you're invited to come to our schools. You're invited to take a closer look. I think you'll like what you see. Thanks.
Thank you, Superintendent. It is now my honor to introduce to you Ken Pruitt. He is a native Floridian who has called St. Lucie County his home since 1977. He served in the Florida legislature from 1990 to 2009. The highlight in his legislative service was being selected president of the Florida Senate from 2006 to 2008. Ken's dedicated commitment to education during his tenure in the legislature was recognized with the naming of Indian River State College in St. Lucie West as the Pruitt campus. Ken is also the recipient of the Paul Harris Fellow by Rotary International. He was elected St. Lucie County Property Appraiser in 2010 and was re-elected without opposition in 2012. Under his leadership, the Property Appraiser's Office was awarded the highly coveted 2014 International Association of Assessing Officers Distinguished Assessment Jurisdiction Award, which is a recognition bestowed to only one office out of 7,000 in the whole world. Please welcome Mr. Ken Pruitt.
Tiffany, thank you very much. And Tiffany, thank you very much for your continued commitment to the Treasure Coast, and we appreciate your media integrity as well. So thank you very much for being with us. We are really proud. The Property Appraiser's Office, our motto is superior service and trusted results. We assess about 165,000 properties in St. Lucie County. That includes your exemptions, your tax roll, your trim notices. Let me digress just a little bit. DLF Media and Ferris, thank you for doing this each and every year to showcase the business community throughout the Treasure Coast. We're grateful. There's a lot of great news to talk about, and this is a great venue to do that, so thank you. This is our motto. Sarah, if you'll go to the next one. Again, as Tiffany brought out, this award that we received would be like getting the Pulitzer Prize if you were a newspaper. It would be like getting the Maine Academy Award for Best Picture. You know, we brag about this a lot because I work with a group of 70 incredible professionals who do a great job for the taxpayers each and every day. This is a group of the 70 professionals. We received the 2015 Leadership Award for United Way, the 6th Annual Spirit of St. Lucie Award. Just to let you know what this small group of 70 professionals did. In 2015, they contributed almost $19,000 to United Way. This is only 70 professionals. This past 2000 campaign that we're in right now, they pledged almost $32,000. 70 professionals, $32,000. Plus, on top of that, they contributed over $18,000 to the community last year as well. We were also, for 4 years in a row, we've been the best places to work in one of them in St. Lucie County. So that's a real, it's not a popularity contest. That's something where there's a lot of data, a lot of information put in, and it's a real achievement for our office to be able to receive this. Now I'll get into the nuts and bolts of why we're here. I want Howard and Franny Hutchinson not to pay attention to these graphs. Next Friday, we will give the actual numbers that your local governments will then start building their budget. So what I'm giving you is just a little bit of a taste of what they're going to be seeing. Of course, we have one more run to make. Could be better, probably will be better, but this is a snapshot of what we're going to be seeing and why, if you're in business in St. Lucie County, you need to start expanding. You need to grab and get a big hold. You need to get ready to start hiring a lot more people. St. Lucie County is on a meteoric rise. It is incredible of what you're going to see happening. If you see back in 2006 and 2007, and of course we had the crash in 2009, but if you look to your very right, these are the numbers just in 1 year when you're looking from 2015 to 2016. Commissioner, still preliminary. The total just value for the county is going to be over 11%. And remember, we're always a year behind because you pay your taxes in arrears. So we're still dealing with 2015 numbers. So we're going to be over 11%, and the taxable value will be in the neighborhood of about 7%. City of Port St. Lucie, you can see what's happening to the just value, the red graph on the top for the city of Port St. Lucie, 17% in the city of Port St. Lucie. And you're seeing what will be for taxable value is 9%. Now, what do I mean by just value versus taxable? Your just value is the total market value. Your taxable value is after you get your homestead exemption and after you get your various other exemption, perhaps a military or a disability exemption. That's the amount. The blue line on the bottom is the amount of money that your local governments will receive to be able to start building their budgets. In the city of Fort Pierce, I am really proud of the government of the city of Fort Pierce and what they're achieving. They are going great guns in Fort Pierce. They're going to have a market value of just value of around 7.5% and a taxable value of around 6.25%. It is happening in the city of Fort Pierce. There's a lot going on in the entire county, and there's not, sometimes there's, you think maybe, well, where's the weak link? There is no weak link here. Everything is strong and vibrant here as well. A couple other things I just want to mention to you is, condos, agriculture, waterfront, Port St. Lucie, tradition. When you go down, and Pete attested to it, 5 miles of commercial, what will be industrial on I-95. It's nowhere else. It's nowhere else in the country except for right here of what's going on here. I also want to talk to you a little bit about the ag, and then I'll close out on this. Citrus greening has really hurt citrus between canker and the so-called free trade agreements, which haven't been so free for us, but they have really decimated our citrus community here, and these men and women have survived in spite of it all. But what we're seeing now is just in the last few months, we've seen over $110 million worth of property acquisitions for ag lands. So these folks, some of the ones that are the larger ones who have purchased these lands, I've spoken with them, and they're doing row crops, mainly corn feed. And where they're from Iowa and Minnesota. And this is really important for y'all to really kind of focus in on this, because remember, when it's agriculture, we don't kind of think about agriculture being, yes, citrus used to be so vibrant and it's still, fairly strong. But you remember, they're buying tractors and equipment and the manufacturing part of what Pete Tesh is trying to grow in the county. It is amazing the amount of money that the agriculture community puts in. These folks are from Iowa and Minnesota. Now, when you compare Florida to the Midwest, which is that's the bread and butter of agriculture in the country, it's mammoth compared to what happens in Florida. I asked him, I said, why are you coming to Florida? These are huge conglomerates that are now coming here. And he said that in Iowa, which is, he didn't say this, but it's kind of like the Garden of Eden. The weather's perfect and everything is just right. And they have one bountiful crop a year. He said, in Florida, we can have 3. Not as bountiful as that one, but still have 3 crops because of the weather and what they have here. So I just say that to you. There's a lot still that they're experimenting with. There's a lot of earth that's being moved, a lot of equipment that's out there. So do not forsake thinking that just because citrus is having a challenging time, don't think for a moment and forsake that agriculture is going away by any stretch of the imagination. If this row crop, if these folks from Iowa and Minnesota succeed, like I'm pretty sure they will, because they have a lot of money behind them, hang on. Not only will our real estate and what you're seeing with these numbers that I've shown you today, but also our agriculture community, and everybody just get a good hold because the best is still to come. I get to introduce somebody who is, you talk about a bright and shining star. Wayne Gent, I want to brag just a little bit about the school system, which erroneously gets a bum rap a lot of times by those who don't know what they're talking about. All 4 of our children have graduated from St. Lucie County Public Schools. All 4 of our children, 2 of them have gone on to get their master's degree at Florida universities. One of them just got his baccalaureate degree. But the one you talked about with Embry-Riddle, our son Stephen went through that. And if you go to, it wasn't official then, but you all had, it was the foundation was there. If you go to page 7 here, on this book here, this kind of gives you a snapshot of what our office does. That's my son Stephen. That's our son Stephen. Stephen is now, he went through Embry-Riddle, went through St. Lucie County Public Schools, went to Embry-Riddle on the program exactly what you're talking about. He is now a captain in the United States Marine Corps, and if you look on page 7, he flies the Harrier jet for the Marine Corps. And I say that because it's happening right here. All this is happening through that education system that you're talking about building the foundation here. And with that, Stephen just literally got home last week after an 8-month deployment in Iraq. So we're really proud of our school district, and we're equally proud of what these young kids are doing out there. But this, besides my own children, which I'm crazy proud of, this young lady that I'm going to introduce here is, you talk about a shining star for this community and what she represents. Eileen and I had the privilege and honor of sponsoring the Youth of the Year initiative, being one of the sponsors for the Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie, which is a phenomenal organization here as well. And Alicia Johnson is our Youth of the Year for the Boys and Girls Club, who will be representing us at the state level and hopefully at the national level. Alicia, will you come on up here? She is a junior at Fort Pierce Westwood. She's a member of the Boys and Girls Club now for 3 years. This is as a hardworking and enthusiastic young person as you have ever seen. And when you talk about reaching for the stars, she does it each and every day of her life with some real constraints in her life, but she does it and she overcomes. She's been active with the girls' basketball team and theater. She's made a 3.5 average since GPA since middle school. She plans to attend FSU, and she has earned over 275 service hours. One of the finest young people in our community that has become a role model for our young kids to follow. Ladies and gentlemen, Alicia Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Pruitt, for that wonderful introduction. And I would also like to thank our superintendent, Mr. Gent, for all you've done for our school district. Thank you. My name is Alicia Johnson, and I am just a girl from Hagley Park, Kingston, Jamaica. And sure, my life hasn't been the easiest, but I refuse to dwell in the past because I have a bright future ahead of me. I will be the first person in my family to graduate from high school in the United States. I am the older sister of 2 boys, one who has autism and the other who tries his hardest to outdo me because everything is a competition. I am my mother's angel child and my father's most valuable player. I'm a member of the Boys and Girls Club, the head junior staff at the Infinity Unit, and I am St. Lucie County's Youth of the Year. If I had to describe the Boys and Girls Club in just one word, it would have to be profs. And yes, we had to come up with an acronym because who can describe the Boys and Girls Club in just one word? It would have to be one multi-meaning, gigantic word. But for now, the Boys and Girls Club is profs. It's a P for positive place where the youth can spend time. When I'm at the Boys and Girls Club, I don't have to watch my back because I know that everyone there wants what's best for me. R, recognition. I'm recognized in my clubhouse. There has been a light shined on me that I haven't received anywhere else. And not only has the Boys and Girls Club provided me with recognition, but they have also introduced me to positive role models in my community. O, opportunities. The Boys and Girls Club is full of opportunities. They have given me the opportunity to be a part of their junior staff, to accumulate hundreds of volunteer hours, and be in their Youth of the Year. The Boys and Girls Club gives you the opportunity to be recognized positively. The F in profs has to be the most exciting. F, fun. The Boys and Girls Club is fun. There's countless amounts of activities that you could be involved in, such as art classes, cooking sessions, and even sports. There's something at the clubhouse for everyone. Last but not least, and my personal favorite, S, strong, supportive relationships. At the clubhouse, I have built relationships with individuals who care for me. People like Mr. X, Miss Megan, Mr. Tom, Miss Sheena, and Miss Fran. I know that I could go to these individuals when I'm in a time of need. And I know that they will steer me in the right direction because they support me. The Boys and Girls Club is profs. It's a positive place where you can be recognized, full of opportunities, fun, and you build strong, supportive relationship. To me, the Boys and Girls Club is my sanctuary because when I'm there, I'm happy. And it's not like my worries don't exist, but there I get the help I need to deal with them. And that is something everyone should have. My vision for the youth is to have professional specialists in every Boys and Girls Club. Someone who will help the youth with their mental and emotional issues. Throughout my teen years, I have faced my own personal issues regarding my personal mental health. There were times where I thought I was good enough for anything. I would be hard on myself and mentally be my own bully. That was before I opened up to someone in my clubhouse. If there were these professional specialists in every Boys and Girls Club, it would save lives. If the youth had someone to talk to and confide in, it will lower their chances of going out and joining gangs, taking drugs, and even committing suicide. I am committed to making my vision for the youth a reality, with the help from the staff who have supported me throughout the years. Because my name is Alicia Johnson, and I am not just a girl from Hagley Park, Kingston, Jamaica. But I am the bright light at the end of a dark tunnel, and I will lead the youth to a brighter future. Thank you. I would like to encourage all of you to come out and visit our 4 units in the St. Lucie County. We have 2 units in Port St. Lucie, the Ken Pruitt unit and the Chuck Hill unit, and 2 units in Fort Pierce, Garden Terrace unit and the Infinity unit. We do spectacular things with the youth. Come and watch us work with the youth, and you will see the profs that take place in these buildings. Thank you.
You know, another Treasure Coast Business Summit, and once again, they have done a phenomenal job. There are so many vendors here, there are so many people here. It is just great to see all the business that we have here. And so many of them are right from our city in Port St. Lucie.
Well, it's really fun to be in a building full of movers and shakers, everybody doing their thing, talking about what's going on, and to see a lively business community in St. Lucie County is exciting.
At the Treasure Coast Business Summit today, and I'm loving it, meeting lots of new people, meeting new faces, interacting with the community. It's great stuff here today.
Well, I think it's great. It's a great turnout. There are a lot of people here who are very interested in what happens in our community, and we all have a stake at what goes on here, and to collectively bring it all together in this venue, it's a really fantastic campfire.